if you know this, but did you know that women lose up to 8% of their muscle mass every decade after 40? So that is a lot of muscle mass that's being lost. And so when you lose that muscle and it disappears, it doesn't just change how you look or how you feel, but it also can affect your energy, your sleep, your attitude, your hormones, even your sense of hopefulness about the future. And so, of course, here we're trying to make life look beautiful again, right? And so, when you're low energy, hormones are off, and not getting any sleep, and your attitude is off, you're not living a beautiful life. So, today I'm going to share with you some moves that help women like you reconnect back with your body and your vitality, even when you're exhausted. And so, by the end of this live stream, I hope that you're going to walk away with 3 easy low energy exercises that are going to help you tone your body, reset that mood, and reclaim your energy, all without burnout. And then, of course, if you hang around all the way to the end, I'm also going to be sharing with you my number one mistake I made during my own hormonal crash. And so hopefully you can skip the crash and burn cycle and phase that I had to go through. So let's go ahead and talk about what being tired really does to us. Being tired, it's not just physical, but it's also an emotional thing for all of us. And so because we're tired all of the time as we get older, it's not just your body that slows down, it's your ideas, they slow down, your dreams, they kind of take a back seat, right? And then you find when that happens that your joy tends to dim a little. You kind of start skipping out on things, not because you don't want to do them, but because you don't have the capacity for them. That's a word I have often used, is I just don't have the capacity for this, right? So your hormones, they're shifting, your sleep is getting interrupted. Um, Things in your body might feel unpredictable, like your knees might want to give out or your back, and then all of a sudden you might find yourself not even really being able to show up in life the way that you want to. So here in this particular episode, we're not really just talking about how you look in a mirror, because looking toned and fit is awesome. But this is also about having that motivation and that energy just to show up for the beautiful life that you want to live and those dreams, those big audacious dreams that the world is waiting on you to deliver. Right. So for me, that looks like keeping up with my grandchildren. We have another one coming in October. So I want to feel sharp and confident in my life around, other people. And for you, it might be showing up confident and keeping up with the energy of your coworkers. Or maybe you just want to flirt with your husband like you used to, right? And you have to have energy for that. So this is all about making life beautiful again. Movement is going to be a gateway for that. And so these next 3 shifts that I'm going to share with you, they're not about more effort. Specifically, they're going to be more about bringing and waking up your body to be alive again. Right. And of course, I operate in a fashion that I'm going to do everything in a way that's not overtaxing myself. So, what do you want more energy for in your life? Like, is it for your business? Is it for your family? Is it for traveling? All right, let's talk about something that I don't think gets talked about often enough is your glutes. Right. And so when you're waking up in the morning already tired and already feeling stiff, even a little foggy headed before your feet even hit the floor and you've had your coffee, right? This is one simple move to make a world of difference in how your body operates. And so, no, we're not really talking about a full workout first thing in the morning, but I'm talking about waking up your glutes in the morning so that you can get your system going. So when these muscles are asleep, a lot happens, when we get older because it's part of your core and your pelvic girdle system. And so when you don't have that strength, everything can feel weak and want to give out. And so your body has to work overtime when they're asleep just to do some of the basics, right? And you might not even realize it, but your glutes, they play a big, big role in your entire body and how it functions, especially with hormonal shifts. And so they help stabilize the pelvis, like I was saying. They support your lower back, right? And they keep your posture upright. And so every time we overextend our posture either way, forward or backward, we actually cause imbalances and get out of alignment in so many more ways than just in your spinal. And so when they're not engaged, when your glutes are not engaged, you're more likely to feel sluggish, out of alignment, off, and yes, even more bloated than you would if you were in alignment and they were awake and engaged. And so I know a lot of people in this day and age, they have been to a chiropractor at some point in time in their life, and they've probably told you that glute activation is a must if you want to keep your adjustments, if you want to keep them to actually stay aligned. And so once I started doing this regularly, I could feel that difference in my body. Right? I had less tension, better movement, more clarity. It took less effort to achieve what I was trying to do. And so the move that I'm going to share with you, and I'm sure you've probably done it before, but what's really great about this one's simple enough that you can even do it while you're in bed. So when you're laying on your back, right, your knees are going to be bent, feet flat on the mattress or on the floor if you want to do it that way. But from there, you're going to slowly lift your hips up off the bed, keeping your shoulders and neck supported by just keeping that on the mattress. And you're just going to gently squeeze those glutes while you're in that lift, right? And you're going to hold it for a second at the top. And then when you lower yourself, instead of collapsing really quickly, you're going to lower yourself with control. And then when you do that, just do it 10 times in the morning, every time when you wake up. It's funny because I find myself when I do this really truly being like going from foggy to, okay, let's get out of bed and get this day started. It's just really wild how that happens. And here's the thing. Make sure that you understand this is not about how high you lift your body. It's really about sending a message to your body. We're waking up. We're doing this on purpose. Like, I want you just to hold that position and squeeze, right? And release. And just know that you only have to do it 10 times. If you do this, you're really going to be able to feel present in your body again. It's really hard to do exercises without having that sense of just being engaged and present in your body for a minute, right? And so your glutes, when they're active, your whole system works better. You move easier, your back and your hips feel more supported. That bloating that you might wake up with ends up getting eased up day after day as you continue to do this. And so you feel a little bit more like yourself throughout the day. All right. So the next one is a little bit quirky, but that's why I love it. It's basically stationary jump rope, right? You know, it's exactly the way it sounds. No rope, no equipment. You're just gently bouncing in place, right? Arms and feet in motion together. And so you're just pretending that you're jumping with a rope. And you don't have to worry about getting your feet fully off the ground because you're not using a rope, so you're not worried about tripping. But I love this, especially because as a nomad, I can't carry a lot of extra equipment around with me. And I often on those long road days, you know, we're traveling 10 hours or so at a time. So I don't have time to do a full workout. But it's so great because we'll stop at a rest stop. I can get out, do 30 seconds of stationary jump rope, get that heart pump in, wake up the body all over again, and I'm focused. And so it's great because it doesn't require a gym membership and you don't have to lug a bunch of stuff around with you. But here's the thing. This gets your lymphatic system moving. It reduces puffiness, again, bloating, especially in the lower half of your body. And so if you have that like heavy weighted feeling, this is really good. And that heavy weighted bloated feeling, it's not always food related. Most of the time it is lymphatic and your body, it's not like your heart. It doesn't pump out its own stuff. You actually have to get the body moving so that it will pump out that lymph system. And so that's how you're going to get things flowing. So a lot of people, they like to buy trampolines or rebounders to do this. And if you have bad knees, it's really great because you can modify. You can do just toe raises or heel dips. And you also, if you are a little bit more athletic, but not quite ready to do both feet at once, you can trade off one foot to the other, back and forth, right? And so this one, it's just such a great one. And even if you're just sitting in a chair, in a wheelchair, you can sit there and bounce your feet up and down and rock those ankles. And so that's really great because this one, it you almost can feel it immediately, right? And it's not intense, but it's very energizing. You might be able to find yourself just kind of like really clear in the brain. Especially, I found when I used to work at a desk all the time, I would just sit there and bounce my legs and just kind of keep that lymphatic going. And it wasn't a nervous habit for me, but it was just a way to kind of keep movement going, lifting your spirit along with your heels, right? But it is a really nice, sneaky move that just helps with so much. And like I said, it reduces bloating, gets you better circulated, lifts your mood, and then you have that mental clarity. So that's your invitation to get out there if you want to reduce puffy or reduce some energy crashes around 2 p.m. It's really a perfect one for that. All right, this one might actually surprise you, but I promise it's one of the best kept secrets for women in midlife. Have you ever felt when your body is just kind of off? You may even find your postures being a little slouchy, your hips might feel a little tight, your brain is a little foggy. Imagine if I told you that walking backward for a couple of minutes a day could help you feel stronger, more stable, and sharper mentally, right? And I know that sounds totally odd, but I want you to stick with me because um, I have a particular practitioner who introduced me to this, and I didn't believe her, but after she adjusted me, she had me walk backwards for 1 to 2 minutes after my session to retrain my body to hold that alignment. And the more I do it, it's interesting because I've noticed it really does strengthen up my glutes and my hamstrings, right? It supports my core. I have to focus a little bit harder. And it clears up kind of that low level heavy feeling that I didn't even know that I was carrying until I didn't have it anymore, right? And sadly, that's how a lot of us women operate because we're so go, go, go. We don't pay attention to something until it's not there, right? But what's happening when you're doing this walking backwards for a couple of minutes is you're waking up muscles that are normally ignored. Right. And so you're proving your balance or coordination. And as a bonus, you're actually kind of challenging your brain, right, in a completely new way. It's building new neural pathways because that backward movement is not automatic. So you actually have to force your brain to be present. And that presence alone is powerful because it's really grounding to clear the brain. Studies even show that walking backward can burn more calories than walking forward, and it improves that cognitive function. I think they said you can burn up to 40 more percent in calories. So it's going to tone your legs because you're working those hamstrings. Having just a clear mind is a big deal because in this stage of life, our hormones are fogging up that brain all the time. And I think all of us could use a little bit more of that. And then what's also great about this particular move is it doesn't require a fancy setup. Just a hallway, a quiet room, and like when I'm at those rest stops, I will put one hand on our vehicle and just walk all the way around the truck a couple of times. And so you're just going to walk slowly and gently for 1 to 2 minutes. And if you're nervous, put your hand up against the wall or on a counter in your kitchen. If you have an island, it's a good way to work your way around the island a couple times, but go slow, right? The goal isn't to rush, it's to reconnect and be present with your body so that you can turn on all the circuits again, right? And it's such a small thing, but it has a big payoff. I mean, who doesn't want stronger legs and better posture, sharper focus, right? Especially for the big, beautiful life that we want to live. So, this is a good one to do in the morning because you're just getting your day totally like foundationally set and grounded. But it's also good at the end of the day because if you've had a stressful one and you're living in your brain, it actually helps you reconnect with your body and kind of bring that nervous system back down. So I love it. But before I let you go, I totally want to share something that I wish someone had told me a few years ago. My biggest mistake here during hormonal changes was thinking that the solution was to push myself harder. And I thought I had to do more, like move more, clean up my diet more. And I already have a super clean diet, most people will tell you, but none of that worked, right? In fact, it actually caused things to be more worse. And what I really needed was to think differently, move differently, to give my body permission to slow down and focus on being strong. And so that shift, it's going to change everything, right? And that's why I teach the way I teach now, because we don't need more pressure or more things to do. We don't need to add anything else to our plate, right? But if you want to go deeper with today's ideas, I've put together a workbook that walks you through all of these moves and how you can use them throughout the week. Okay. And so you can find it in the files section of the Making Life Beautiful Again Facebook group. Just go join and grab that workbook. And next week, I'm really excited because we're adding on to this week is we're bringing in someone really special. Dr. Jian will be joining me live to talk about energy and vitality in midlife. And so she's going to break down what might really be draining your energy. And beyond that, how to start restoring it in ways that are going to last. And so she's totally brilliant. I love her. And I can't wait to share her with all of you. So I will see you guys next week.